투자함의 미주라 돌아왔습니다. 미드나이트 애널리스트 콜. 오늘은 특별한 분 모셨습니다. 월가의 스타 애널리스트 웨드부시 증권의 아이브스입니다.
Thanks for joining us today here in 딜사이트 television South Korea, and good to see you, Dan.
Great to be back with you, and always fun to talk.
And please say hello to Korean investors.
Look, it's always great to talk to Korean investors. You know, I see many when I'm in Korea. A lot of Korean investors visit the U.S. often, so always seeing them in New York City, pretty often. Look, it was a code red. We had to be loud because Musk had to leave the Trump White House and Doge. And the brand damage was something that the clock struck midnight. Musk had to choose. He chose Tesla. We raised our price target since, never lowered our rating. But it was a shot across the bow from our view. In other words, investors, the frustration grew to a point where Tesla has so much success and so much innovation ahead of it, autonomous robotics. Now is not the time to focus on government and Doge from Musk. You focus on Tesla. That's what he did. The bull train's back. We believe autonomous and robotics are worth $1 trillion. I mean, I believe $2 trillion valuation is the fair valuation for Tesla in the next year. But a lot of that depends on autonomous and robotics. And I believe the Austin launch in June's key. A year from now, we're going to have a few 100,000 robotaxis that ultimately scales to 1 million. And that, to me, is the story of Tesla going forward. It's not short-term buzz. The next 5 years, 10 years, it's going to be driven by robotics and autonomous. I mean, the AI story for Tesla is just starting. Hey, look, do they have to get back demand in China, get back demand in Europe? Of course. But the linchpin, the golden era of growth is because of autonomous. Yeah, because look, in the Middle East right now is ahead of China in line for those AI chips. There's only one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution. It's Jensen Nvidia. Saudi, UAE, they're getting next gen Blackwell chips. China, they're getting restricted on the H20s. So I think it just speaks to this game of high stakes poker that's going on between the US and China. But Nvidia, when you look at Middle East and you look at that opportunity for AI, we think that could add $1 trillion of opportunity to AI in terms of Middle East opening up. I mean, Nvidia is playing chess like a grand wizard chess player, and everyone else is playing checkers at the kids' table. I mean, Nvidia is playing a different game. And in my view, those that say that this is hype, this is just beginning. It's still 10:30 p.m. in an AI party that goes to 4 a.m. Trump shut down the AI party for a little because of the tariffs. Party's back open. And now you have chip, software, and other players that are participating. And it's why I believe over the coming years, we're going to be talking about NASDAQ 22,000, 25,000, 30,000, driven by AI. Look, I mean, they are pivoting Apple toward India. They're clearly in the eye of the storm when it comes to China tariffs, but that's starting to soften, de-escalate. And I still believe 70% of the world is going to access AI through an Apple device. Now, have they been late? Have they had missteps on AI? Yeah. It's not the end game. Like my view is like this AI revolution has just begun. The consumer AI revolution goes through Cupertino, and I think that adds $50 to $70 a share just on AI. Look, first, I think all Asian markets have been hit so hard because of tariffs and because a lot of the political worries and the sort of trade war that's gone on. And Korea has obviously gotten hit as well. I think the Korean market, especially on the tech side, actually is pretty attractive. I think when you look at SK, Samsung, and others, I mean, I think you're talking about some of the core players. Whether it's SK or Samsung in terms of what I view as kind of the next gen of technology. I think it's a barbell approach investors have to have. You can own some Korean names, you own some tech names, but then obviously a lot of the US focused names is where I believe you want to continue to be.
That's a wrap on our conversation with Dan Ives today here in South Korea, and Managing Director and the Senior Equity Research Analyst at Wedbush Securities. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today here, and it's been a pleasure. See you next time.
Great being here and look forward to seeing you again.
네, 지금까지 웨드부시 증권의 글로벌 테크 담당 이사인 댄 아이브스와 함께했습니다.